Hello, my friends. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel and welcome to hashtag Stash to Treasure. This is an open collab I've been hosting along with my co-hosts, Susan from Susan Hiles Art, Helen from Moss Cottage, and Maria from Maria's Miscellany. And we've been having a lot of fun with the prompts each week. So this is the next to the last week, so it's not too late to participate. If you'd like to participate, just post your video on a Friday. The prompts will be for next week and today. You can still participate today if you'd like. Even if you haven't participated so far, use the hashtag in your chat, in your title, and make sure you're subscribed to all 4 of our channels. And the links will be in the description box also. And post your video and show us your ideas. And if you wouldn't mind, link our channels. So today the prompts are fabric, lace, thread, twine/string, and buttons. Wow, what a selection. So yeah, like if you haven't participated before, you don't have to do all of that. I'm going to focus on fabric. It was so hard to choose, and I didn't know whether to do all of them or what. But there's so much you can do with all of those things. I just thought, let me focus on fabric today, right? So let me show you some examples of ideas that you can use, how you can use fabric in your journal. So one of the easiest ways, let me show you that first, is if you have fabric or fabric scraps. And this is what I do with my fabric scraps a lot of times when I want to just, get them reduced. I have just one little drawer of fabric scraps here, a little plastic drawer in one of my organizers. And if it's getting too full, I'll try to go ahead and cut some up. So I cut them up. I have a couple bags here because this is kind of the blues here. There's a couple of yellow there too. But anyway, this is the second bag, mostly blues. And what I do is cut them up into squares. So they don't have to be all the same size. They can be any size you want. But I do like, let me show you my favorite size here. Well, here's some big ones too. So I've got the big and I've got the, yeah, see, I guess they're all different sizes in here. But I'm trying to find one that's like a little square is like my favorite size. I don't know if I have any in here though, because they come in so handy. Like, look at this one. Isn't that the cutest little piece of fabric you ever saw? So what I do is just take my fabric and cut them up. Sometimes it depends on the size of the scrap you have as to how you might want to cut it up. But yeah, I just cut them up with my pinking shears. I like that edge, and it just makes a quick little, job of cutting up and making these squares or rectangles. So I have a whole bag on these, and I think they're really beautiful. And what I'll do a lot of time is just say layer them as a little, not even get them ready ahead of time. Just, oh, I need to put something here. Let me grab my squares and just grab a few. I usually like to do 3 if I can. Like this is a bigger one, so I'll put that on the bottom. Here's another one. Let's put that one next, kind of a neutral one. And then another one. And you can put a button on top or just leave it like that and glue those together on a pocket or a page. And isn't that a pretty little decoration, a little cluster that you can make really quick with just your scraps? And aren't they beautiful, And you've saved and you're using your scraps, and that makes you feel good too. So those are all in. That's one thing I do with my fabric for my journals. And then let me show you, I do make clusters ahead of time. I have a little bin here of clusters. And this one right here, I had a bunch of fabric ones. Most of the ones that are left are paper here. But I have made, now my friend made these, but I have made something like these where you take a strip of fabric and you roll it into a flower. So that's something like what she did here. And aren't those cute to decorate a journal with? And I have a video on that I've already done. And I got the idea actually from Carla Frizzell. And she does it too. She has a video on it too. And if you just want to, I'm trying to think of what I call them. Something like rolled fabric flowers, how to make them. Something like that, if you want to search for that. And then here's another little cluster where I used a couple pieces of fabric with a little sticker that I backed with some cardstock. And there's a little tiny yo-yo. If you like to make yo-yos, you can make those with your fabric. So clusters, squares, that's 2. And the yo-yos, that's actually 3. And the rolled flowers, that's actually 4 things. Let's see. So another thing I did with some scraps, like scrap paper, scrap whatever. See, I have paper here. These 3 are paper scraps. This is a stamp from an envelope, just torn off of an envelope. And here's a little piece of fabric in here. Just a little scrap to add something, you know, a different texture and a different color in there. And it's on a bulb pin so that you can hang that from something in your journal. So those are cute. Those are cute and fun and easy and fast to make. Let's see. Now this week, I've been working on making some fabric tags. I had some in my shop, and I think they're all sold. I was going to check and make sure, but I think I remember them selling, and I thought, well, you know, Sherry, you should make some more. So I was already in the process of making these. I just need to finish them. So these are fabric tags, and you can see I put some sewing pattern ladies from a sewing pattern that I had. I think I made a journal out of this one. My last sewing journal I made out of this pattern with these ladies on them. But I copied them. Before I made it into a journal cover, I copied the cover and fussy cut out these ladies and put them on these tags. This one I had to make taller, see this? Because this lady was super tall. So I just made it taller for her. And then here's the rest of them. And these glued down really nicely. I tried to make sure that they were glued down really flat, so this, if it's, you know, tried to catch on something, they wouldn't get ripped off or anything. You know, like if you're putting it in and out of a pocket, I didn't want them to get damaged. So I did not seal them, didn't put anything over them, but I used, I think I used art glitter glue. I didn't want to use fabric glue because, it's thicker and I didn't want it to be chunky or anything under there. And I just wanted it to be this, like, so really super nice and flat. So I used art glitter glue, and they are nice. They are nice and flat. I made sure to get all over the little pieces because, like, there's little pieces like the little heel there. And let's see, there's another lady that had, this lady has fingers right here. Her hand had her fingers there. I had to really be careful with those. Here's another one. In all of these, I added an eyelet and some matching ribbon, coordinating ribbon. So I think they really turned out cute. And I tried to put a lady on each fabric that matched also. So I think they really turned out cute. I like them. I'm going to put these in my shop and eventually, as soon as I get around to it. But those are cute. So what else? You can make tassels with your fabric. If you tear your fabric into strips, here's what I made. This is made out of I was making mask, when what first started. Starts with a C. And I was making mask and I had some leftover fabric, and this is comic book fabric that I had picked up at Walmart. Superhero fabric. And so I made a superhero kind of tassel here and just tore it into strips. I've made a lot of tassels. If you want to search tassels or I used to do Tassel Tuesday with Jovi on my channel. And so if you want to search the hashtag Tassel Tuesday or just, my channel name and tassels, you will find a bunch of tassel videos. But yeah, these are fun to make and a good way to use up your fabric. And it's really easy So I show you, some of them I don't show you how, but most of them I do show you how I made, you know, the different tassels, and especially these easy ones like this. There's some little charms on here, really cute. So that's another way to use your fabric. And one other thing I have here to show you, there's lots of ways you could, that I don't have here to show you, you can make fabric pockets, little tabs for your pages, flip ups, you know, fabric flip ups. You can make them small, you can back them. I was thinking of making one, because usually people just use the fabric and that's it. I thought it would be cool to make one like a tip-in, you know, and back it with some cardstock, then the fabric, and then make a little flip, you know, so it's more sturdy. I think I might like try that sometime. I've never tried it, but I was just thinking of that today. Another way to use up your scraps is to make a fabric, maybe use this for like a tie closure. They take a little bit to put it together, but in the end, they're really beautiful. And I have just backed with like a sort of like a muslin fabric here, a strip of that. And then what I did was take this strip and I think I glued on. Yeah, I think I glued on. This looks so good. I can't. And I made it a while ago. But I think I possibly glued on my fabric a little bit to get it to stay into place. And then I think I overlapped them a little bit. And then I took my sewing machine. This is black thread, as you can see. And I sewed up and down. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows on it of sewing. And does that look pretty? So I've got that one. And I need to use those for tie closure. I just haven't found the right journal yet. I made a few of these. And so that was, you know, you could probably see the length. It was about, what, 15, 18 inches or something like that. And then this one I made a couple and I sewed them together here. See, that's 2 of those sewn together. So let me show you the fabrics on this one. This one had more, like that one I had all squares, like square, 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 or whatever shape, rectangle, whatever. See, this one I have more pieces. So there's a small square, a bigger square. See how there's pieces here? Little pieces in here, kind of like a snippet roll. But just a fabric snippet roll, I guess you could call this one, because I had more smaller pieces that I was using. So a great way, see, even there's a little piece right there. A great way to use up your small pieces. And again, a piece of like muslin on the back. And maybe like glue, or you could pin them on, but I think a little glue is maybe best. And then for me, that's how I think that's how I did it. A little glue to hold them in place. And on this one, you can see I only did 3 rows of stitching, and I always go across the end, of course. And so that's how that one came out with the smaller pieces. And I glued 2 together so it would be nice and long to tie around a journal. And then this one is another one. This one I have the 3 rows of stitching. This one looks like it has more little squares on it too, not the little pieces. But this is even a stamped piece of fabric right here. That's a stamp on there. But just, you can see it doesn't coordinate or anything. I didn't try to match anything. I just took my scraps and put them together to use them up. And I think I think they turn out really cute like that. You know, not worrying about matching them. So let's see. Today I was going to show you, let's see how much time I have left here. I got my timer going a little different today. We've got a few minutes. So I was going to show you, if we have time, I'll show you how I make the fabric tags really easy. This is how I like to do it, because there's always, I always like, if I can, which is most of the time, have some writing room on the back. So I take my strip of fabric, and this was the strips from Dollar Tree. You know, the roll of strips that you get at Dollar Tree. I wanted to, I have plenty of fabric. I could make my own strips, but I just wanted to try it. So I think I made tags with all of those strips. And here they are. I've already, like I said, I already sold some in my shop. And here's a couple that I've got on file folder. Here's the rest I have ready to glue on. So I've been sitting in front of my TV getting that roll ready, you know, at night when I watch a show or two with my husband. I took that roll and cut it up into the size of tags that I wanted. It was already this width, so I didn't have to do anything with the width. And then just, well, actually I tore it. I didn't cut it. You can tear it. I mean, you can cut it if you want, like with your pinking shears or your scissors. But I like this little frayed edge on the top and bottom. So I got all of these ready while I was watching TV. You know, another little TV kind of mobile craft thing you can do. And then I am starting now. I just brought it in last night to start cutting up. I brought these file folders in the living room to start cutting up into these shapes so I could glue the shapes, you know, the fabric down onto the file folder like this. And then that's when I come back and after I'm done with that, I'll come back and what do I do with those? I'll come back and punch a hole. I can do that in the living room. I can even put the eyelets in the living room. I can put the ribbon in the living room. The only thing I don't do in the living room is sew around. These are all, you know, that I just showed you. They're all stitched around. And you don't have to stitch on them. They were fine, like perfectly glued down. It wasn't coming up or anything. And so I didn't have to stitch. I just like that I wanted to stitch around them, so I did. So that's the only thing I, you know, come back to my craft room and stitch around when I'm done with the rest of it. Of course, I stitch around before I put the eyelet or the ribbon on. And then I go back and put those two things on. So that's what I'm doing with this stack here of fabric over the next however long it takes me to, that's a lot, right? That's going to keep me busy for a good while. Because it's not like we watch TV all night. We watch like one show or one or two shows. You know, like what we usually try to do is watch a 45-minute show and a short one, like a 20-minute show. And then that's it. That's all of our TV for the night. So, so that's that. And then the other thing I like to do with fabric is when I'm using most of my journals, I rarely do one without fabric on the spine, but sometimes I do. But when I do want fabric on the spine, I have, you know, go to my fabric, and I just pulled out this pretty one here. This was a fat quarter, I believe, from Walmart. You can see I used a piece of it here, right there. And I thought it would be cute on this journal that I'm starting to work on. It's a little Beatrix Potter book, and I've already got it ready, the new spine on there, and it's a cute little one. And so I thought I'd put some, let me see how much time we have left, see if we have time to work on this. We have a few minutes, but I guess I don't need this right now. I thought we might make some tags, so I had put that there, but since we're probably not going to have time to make any tags, I kind of told you. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I did explain it to you. If you have any questions about anything, just let me know in the comments. Comments. I did not say comics, I said comments. So, yeah, let me show you how I'm going to put this on here today. I'm going to play it by ear with my glue here. Let's see. Oh, this is my refill. I think I'm using this one right now. Smaller one. So I'm going to kind of measure here. Let me see if this wraps around all the way. Oh, yes, it does. Good. I didn't know if it was long enough. This has got the selvage edge on it, but it is nice and colored over here, so I don't have to worry about cutting that off. All I need to worry about is making it the right width here. So I think this will tear too. So I'm going to put it right about there, so I don't cover up the Benjamin Bunny. This book is The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, this particular Beatrix Potter book. And usually over the back, it doesn't matter how far it goes over. So I'm going to go ahead, but I do want it to cover up my spine, of course. So I'm going to make sure I go over that with plenty of fabric. And, you know, sometimes I'll leave a little extra just to, let me see what's inside. Inside is the little pictures. So, but I'm going to need to cover up my spine, so it will go over those just a tiny bit, I think. So see, I've got my measurement there, just with my finger. I make a little cut right there and tear. Most cotton fabric tears really nice, but once in a while I'll run into one, like the other day. I think I showed it to you in my video. I was using it or whatever it was, and it just wouldn't tear. I don't know what the deal was, but it must have had something in it that besides cotton, and it just wouldn't tear, so I had to cut it. So let's do, I usually like to do the outside first because I want to make sure of the placement here. And in here it's not quite as important, although sometimes it is really important, but this one isn't as important. So let's try to do it like this so that it wraps up and over. And see, then I'll have a little piece to fold up here, and this will go nicely down to that. And there you go, you'll have a nice neat fabric over your spine. And this is not going to show through, I don't believe, or anything, the glue on this piece here. It's not thin, so I'm going to go ahead and use I wasn't sure if I was going to use my Fabri-Tac or my art glitter glue, but I think the Fabri-Tac will be fine. So I just put it on here with a little Fabri-Tac. Get it going. Put it all over. I have made the spines many times on video, so you could search that on my channel also. I've been doing it the same way pretty much for a long time now, so I think I've probably always done it this way. I never changed because I like doing it this way. It's nice and sturdy, strong. I feel like it's, it's just so perfect because it's just on there so well. Like, I feel like it's just like the sturdiest spine you can make the way I do it. So and everybody has their own way they can do it. There's many ways you can do it and still make it sturdy. I just happen to like this way for myself. I just feel like it's the best way for me to do it. So okay, so I put it down. See, I got my little piece sticking down over here, and I didn't cover up my B. And I'm going to press it down, and then I'm going to go back because I know I didn't put enough in the edges. I'm going to go back and put some glue here. So let's go ahead and do that. Get this nice and glued down. See if we can finish this little fabric part before my video has to be over. And you don't have to do it in one, big piece of, long piece of, you can do it in two separate pieces of fabric. You don't have to do it in one long piece if you don't like to flip it over the top or the bottom. But I find that I like to, if I can, which I usually can, I've found very few instances where I can't flip it over the top. If there's a book, like a cookbook or something, maybe I couldn't flip it over the top. That's one place you can't. If it's a binder, you can't really flip it over the top because you've got the notebook rings in the way. So then you might have to do a separate piece of fabric on the outside. But otherwise, it's just like this. I usually like to flip it over because it covers up this top part of the spine right here, and it makes it gives it a nice finished look over the top. So next, I'm going to glue this little piece down here, and get that nice and glued down. I'm putting my glue on my book here, and kind of make sure I get it into the grooves there of the spine, two little places where you leave a space so your book can bend. So that's all nice and glued down. This is going to be under the other fabric, so I want to make sure this is glued down before I get the other piece down here. Okay, that's nice and glued down. And I want to go ahead and press it a little bit into my grooves here. You can use whatever, I'm just using this because it's handy. You can use your bone folder, ruler, scissors, scraper, whatever you like to use. And now this is going to go like this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut or tear this little piece right here. So I'm going to go something like this. I'm going to just kind of pull it down to where I think it's going to go. You can cut this with anything too. You can cut it with your scissors. You can tear it, cut it with pinking shears, whatever you like. Whatever look you want here. Let's see if this will tear real quick for me. Sometimes it won't tear the opposite way. Let me get my pinking shears and cut that. It'll look nice and neat with that. It's not going to tear because it's the opposite way of the the grain of the fabric. Sometimes it will, though, even on the opposite way, but this one didn't feel like it was going to give me a nice tear. So, ooh, that's starting to glue down there. I don't have my glue on there. Okay, and here's a little string here I want to pull off. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. I want to glue a string, separate little string down. Okay, and now we're just going to glue this down and see what this looks like with our new fabric on the spine. So I'll be working on this journal. Well, actually, this video is done before Friday. I'm posting this video on Friday. It's my Friday video for this collab. But I'm working on this before Friday. So stay tuned. I don't know if I'll work on it more on video or just finish it and have a flip through for you. But I'll have something for you on Saturday, either a finished flip through or maybe I'll do some work on it. Just want to make sure I have enough glue here. It's hard to see sometimes because the glue is clear and, let me hold it in a way that I can see the glue a little bit better. I'll make sure I have enough glue on here because I want this all down. I don't want any bubbles or, anything that's not glued down here on this little fabric. So, and you can take it and you got to work. Fabric tack does give you a little bit more, wiggle room than art glitter glue. Art glitter glue dries so fast that you have to work really fast. This gives you a little bit more time, not much, but a little bit more, so you can get your whatever you're gluing down and work with it a little bit more like I just did to get it all down, all the glue down, and then smear it out before it dried. So that'll give me a nice flat surface here. And see, I kind of stretched the fabric down. I didn't stretch it, but I pulled it tight. This is not stretchy fabric anyway. It's not going to stretch, but I pulled it tight. And I'm going to press it down all over, and you can use a scraper if you want, or a bone folder if you feel like you don't want to use your hand or something. But I'm just, not being fussy here. I'm just using what I have right here. I mean, I have my other tools right there, but, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. So I'm getting in my groove there, getting kind of like the fabric in my groove, so hopefully it won't make a bubble later. You know what I mean? If it's not glued down, it might make a little bubble later. And let me see if my edges need any more glue here. Oh, they're pretty good. And so let's see, I'm going to trim this bottom part up a little bit more with my pinking shears. It's sticking down. It doesn't really matter if it sticks down a little bit. Sometimes that's a little bit cute to have it sticking down a little bit, but it's sticking down a little bit too much. So see, I cut it so you can see the pinked edge there, but it's not sticking way down. So there we go. Let me see if I'm ready to, of course it's still drying, but let me see if I'm ready to fold it real quick. So you can see what it looks like so far. Isn't that cute? See, the colors here matched. She, I guess, this is Benjamin Bunny. I guess this is he or she has a hat on, so it's throwing me off. It looks like a girl hat, but maybe this is a boy bunny. But it's kind of bluish and orangey color there, so that's why I picked this fabric. When my eye went right to it when I was looking at my fabric, and it had the blues and oranges in here, so that's why I picked this fabric. But I thought it would be really pretty with this little journal, and this would get great little spring kind of Easter journal. So yeah, all flowers and stuff. So I think that looks cute. Yeah, I think that came out really cute. So, and here's the inside. Still all nice and glued down. Nothing's puffing up or making a bubble or a wrinkle or anything. So Yeah, that turned out well. So anyway, I wanted to just, like I said, focus on fabric today. So if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know what your favorite thing is to do with fabric. We all need ideas. Even in the comments, it would be great to have some ideas, especially if you're not participating in this collab, to give us your ideas, or don't have a YouTube channel. Give us your ideas in the comments and tell me your favorite thing to do with fabric. And then maybe I'll get a new idea and I can use it in my crafting and my videos. So thank you for watching. I'll see you later and have a great day. Happy crafting.